Hi and welcome to H.I.T Fitness once again. This is a new video series called High Intensity Training by Hari. So my YouTube channel is not getting that much popularity because I'm not talking anything controversial. So my digital marketing team want to speak something about controversial. So just for speaking, I don't want to get into any controversial topic. I have a experience about this high intensity training system. I know that it is the most controversial training system available in the market, and I find that in Indian fitness social media, I didn't find any single trainer speak about high intensity training. So this is the first time I would like to introduce about high intensity training. First thing, we should know what is high intensity training. Don't get a misconception or wrong notion about comparing with your high intensity interval training. High intensity interval training is a cardiovascular training. So it's like you are very much familiar about that. It's like your Tabata 20 or 30 seconds in a very high intensity, then low intensity. That's your conventional high intensity interval training. HIT is a pure strength and resistance training principle. So high intensity training is a very safe, effective and efficient program. If I want to describe high intensity training in one single line, means it's just a resistance training program, will last you only 20 minutes, done with 6 or 8 different exercises, maximum in the frequency of weekly 2 days. So it looks like, how come you get results by doing just 20 minutes exercise program for weekly 2 days with just 5-6 exercise for one single set? Yes, it is scientifically proven. It's there in the market for more than 50 years. So the legacy of high intensity training starts in 1970s. It has been introduced by Arthur Jones. Arthur Jones is a premium fitness equipment designer and he is a founder of Nautilus and Medex. So he launched this training system on early 1970s. After that, it will got familiarized. Then because of the controversial thought process, because what is the controversial part of it is like it will break your conventional training beliefs. So according to high intensity training, it's like you don't want to do more cardiovascular activity or running or jogging or cycling. It's not required. Number 2, you don't want to do any kind of explosive movements or a function in the name of functional movements. Whatever we do in crossfitting, it's like your sledgehammers or tire flips. These are, you can avoid all this exercise because these are not very safe exercise, leads to injury. The third thing is high intensity training also helps to improve your flexibility, because there are 3 primary goals of fitness training. 1 is to increase your strength, 2 is improve your cardiovascular ability, 3 is your flexibility. By doing high intensity training in a right form, you are able to achieve all these 3 main goals of fitness. Yes, I know your goal is to reduce your fat percentage, that is change in body composition, and increase your muscle mass. These are additional benefits, or even I can say side effects of increasing in your strength and improving your metabolic conditioning, that is your cardiovascular ability, that can be easily achieved through high intensity training. Before getting into high intensity training, we should understand who are the people followed this type of training, got benefit out of it. It's like I can say a huge list of people. Out of that, I would like to pick up 2 great, extreme people. Number 1 is Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates followed high intensity training principle. He is a 6-time Mr. Olympia. He is the first benchmark creator of a huge muscular physique. So you might think it is only for bodybuilders. No, not at all. Other extreme, if you say, most of the people, when I say high intensity training, you need to perform the exercise in a very slow pattern, so it don't helps you to improve your power, speed and agility. No, nothing like that. The moment you think of power, speed and agility, there is one man comes in your mind, that's Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee followed high intensity training. So you might ask, how do you know Bruce Lee followed that? Because John Little is his personal trainer on high intensity training system. So So it has a proof it can bring all the benefits of fitness training. So that's the legacy, and it's like it has been very much popularized by a famous bodybuilder called Mike Menzer. Mike Menzer is a rival to Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1980s. So after that, lots of bodybuilders has followed that. Pierco, it's like Sergio Olivo. In 1960s and 70s, most of the people under Nautilus team or Medex research, lots of people followed this particular training system. So the most controversial part of this, breaking that belief of conventional training system is wrong, is going to create a massive impact on the market. Today, why HIT is once again getting familiarized in US and Europe market? Because of conventional training system, people will end up with lots of injuries. You don't get that acceptance because you believe in some particular type of training. The moment you believe in one particular type of training, you also build your future on that, and you also have an identity towards that training system. That's why people were not open to unlearn or break their belief. So high intensity training will break the conventional training beliefs, something like the importance of cardiovascular training and functional training. In the name of functional training, whatever you call CrossFit as functional, because functional has a different meaning. So CrossFit type of training. Third thing is typical bodybuilding training, volume training with more number of sets, more number of exercise for every single muscle group. That is not even required in high intensity training principle. Okay, how do I get connected to high intensity training? I'm not gathering information about high intensity training and presenting in front of you. I have a 20 years of experience and research towards this training methodology. So how it started is, initially I did volume training. So it's like more than 40-50 sets with various exercise. It's my initial training regimen when I'm a thin skinny guy. One of our master trainer, it's like he is a personal trainer for Kamal Hassan. His name is Jayakumar. He said, you're doing too much of volume. Why don't you reduce your volume? He suggested me to go with a training system with just 18 sets. The moment I reduced my training from 50%, from 40 sets to 18 or 20 sets, I start getting results. That's create a serious intuition towards me to do some kind of a proper research towards this type of lower volume training. That particular period on 2003 or early 2000s, it's like we don't have access of information like this. So I went and did lots of research. That time we have only one particular website gives information about high intensity training, and that's called IART.com. So through that IART, I had gone through most of the Nautilus bulletins done by Arthur Jones, who is the creator of high intensity training system, and I got introduced to Mike Menzer. It's like, because when you say high intensity training, it's like you can't avoid Mike Menzer and Dorian Yates into the entire training regimen, because both the people were highly knowledgeable and did lots of scientific research on high intensity training. So it's like I got introduced to Mike Menzer. That time I don't have an access to his materials, books or something like that, because one of my friend has given this particular book. It's like High Intensity Training, the Mike Menzer Way. I got this book as a photocopy on that particular time. It's like you don't have a book availability on that particular time. So I had gone through this entire material. It's like I think approximately it is some 220 pages, completing the entire material. Actually, I'm not very much convinced. It's like I'm searching for what is the training system inside this book. On the page number 135, I find a very simple training system. It's like it has 4 workouts. Every workout should be performed only weekly once. On each workout, we are going to do only 2 muscle group. This workout is called Ideal Training System by Mike Menzer. So, for example, if it is a chest and back, I am going to do only 2 exercises, dumbbell flies and incline press for just one set. to failure. I need to do some kind of a preparation warm-up sets to push myself to that intensity, and back again straight arm pull down and pull-ups and your deadlift. Only 3 exercises. Totally 5 exercises, each should be performed for only 1 set. For the first exercise, you need to do a couple of warm-up sets. You finish your workout program within 20 minutes. I don't have any great hope and belief on this particular training system on that particular time. So what I did is I modified this with my conventional volume training knowledge. Instead of doing 1 set, why don't we do 3 sets? Instead of doing weekly once, why don't we do it weekly 3 days? So I had did so many permutation combinations by combining high intensity training principle to volume training. But I got some results, but I'm not reaping the absolute results of high intensity training. It took a long time for me to get convinced to it, because there is no master for me to teach high intensity training system. So the one core principle of high intensity training is momentary muscular failure. To understand this core principle, it took more than 15 years. So because I didn't see anybody showing how to do momentary muscular failure. Even I watched Mike Menzer videos, but I'm not getting exactly what he is saying about momentary muscular failure. Even I would like to create my next video about momentary muscular failure. When I am convinced, I keep on doing research. I had gone through various books of various authors. So like Mike Menzer, it's like Doug McGuff. He is a doctor, and he had written a book called Body by Science. This book has been launched on early 2010s or something like that. So after that, I had gone through Ellington Darden, who is a researcher, work along with Dr. Jones. So I had gone through all their training system. At last, it took 15 years for me to get convinced to follow an absolute high intensity training principle. So you have 2 options. Either you can take my path, like doing a long research and getting convinced to high intensity training, or simply follow this video series. Instantly you can get into that. And there is also a third option. You can fight with me for about every single training principle I'm going to explain on this. So because you don't want to unlearn, or you don't want to break your belief, so I'm open for that. It's like, yes, I'm open for all kind of negative comments, because now I have answers to all your negative comments. Because whatever the negative comments, what you're going to feel now has been happened to me a long back. So this is going to be a most controversial topic. It's like this is just an introduction video. We will see more about high intensity training and how to do high intensity training. It's like, what's the science behind it? What are your mental blocks when you go through your high intensity training? What are your mental blocks you're going to face, and how you're going to break it, and how you're going to convince yourself for high intensity training? Once again, I'll tell you, in my pure experience, high intensity training principle is very safe, effective and efficient exercise program. The moment you think intensity, you always connect to injury. So that's the problem. People, oh, it is intense, means it's going to put me into injury. Actually, it is not like that. If you do high intensity training in a right form, in a right pattern, you can avoid injuries. Even in West, how come this high intensity training is getting popularized once again? Because the conventional training system is putting the people into lots of injuries. I think I had given enough information in this introduction video. If you like this video, please like it, and if you want to subscribe my YouTube channel, subscribe it, and you share this video as much as possible, and post your comments about high intensity training. If you heard about high intensity training, or maybe if you are not accepting my thought process towards high intensity training, post it on the comment. I would like to answer all those things. Thanks for watching once again.